Namaste, everyone. Welcome to class. Hopefully you had a nice weekend and are ready to do a little practice this morning. And hopefully your daily practice is becoming settled, what you've decided upon for a daily practice. Whether it be just a little prayer when you put your feet on the floor first thing in the morning, or an intention to be kind to everyone who puts themselves in your path today. Just thinking of what practice most you can thread through your day every day. Okay. So for now, here we are ready to begin our asana, pranayama, and meditation practice together. And let's start with our hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. You can bow your head and take a soft gaze toward the floor, or you can close your eyes completely. Just settling into your asana, to your seat. Find your breath, just notice it, smooth it out a little. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present. Special prayer of thanksgiving for Baba Hari Das. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga, Ayurveda, and with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. So ask yourself, today, Tuesday, what do I need for self-transformation? Letting that thought wash over you for a moment. And what in your life needs a little extra energy, a little extra oomph? So be it a person or a thing or a whatever, dedicating your practice to that object today. So pulling that into your mind and your consciousness also. And with those two thoughts, let them slip down into your heart space. And then if you can, join me in one resounding Om. Exhaling the breath out and a nice big inhale to chant. Allowing your eyes to flutter open, and then just drop your hands to your legs for a moment, just sitting up nice and tall. Today is going to be on our upper body. We've been paying a lot of attention to our lower body, and we're going to focus today on our girdle, our upper neck and back, our throat, all of the things that happen in this upper region, okay? But to do that so that we don't get, we're going to use our legs. So whatever cross-legged position you have, switch it, put the other leg in front, okay? And then just make some circles, nice big circles. So let's just wake up the hips. Other direction. Once more, first direction. And again, other direction. Good. And then just bringing the knees in for a moment and relax them. And if you'd like to put some blocks underneath them, because we're going to be here for a few moments doing some shoulder work. So just playing with your knees for a moment, just bringing them in, lowering wherever they happen to be. Don't push, just going to where they go naturally. Okay. And then again, switch the front leg. And one more time, just up and down, just lubricating the hip socket. Because we're going to take our focus in a moment to our shoulders. So I'm going to grab some blocks and just make sure that I have my legs supported and happy while I focus elsewhere, because all of a sudden you can realize that you were doing a little stuff to your knees. So I'm just going to bring mine up a block's worth so that I can really focus on my shoulders without any pain in my adductors, okay? So think about that. Maybe roll a pillow or a blanket or anything. You can just wrap a blanket around you, rolled up under both knees at once. Good. So let's first start with our head region. So with not taking your face anywhere except front and forward, take your ear over to your left shoulder, just a little. Just breathing. And then using your left hand, push your head back up. So not using the muscle to spasm after you just lengthened it. And again, over to the left. Notice how the neck feels, how any tension feels. Try to keep your left shoulder soft. And then use your left hand and put it back. Good. And one last time. Over to the left. Your face is forward, not looking, you can take your gaze wherever you'd like, but not taking your face down or up. Just ear toward the shoulder and shoulder not lifting to meet the ear, just the ear headed toward the shoulder. And then left hand, bring it up. Notice the difference in both sides of the neck. Just notice for a moment. Any tightness or opposite, really feeling loosey-goosey. Right ear toward the right shoulder. And then let's put it back. And right ear. Just let it be for a moment. Let the left side lengthen. Muscles don't really stretch beyond their capacity. It's just they're learning to relax into their capacity. The firing stops and put it back. Tall, and then one more time, over toward the right. And then use your right hand and put it back. Good. And then go ahead and take your chin out toward the left side, keeping your face again upright and chin parallel to the floor. Keep your right shoulder where it is. Don't let your right shoulder travel. We're just using the neck. Right now it's your SCM, your sternocleidoid mastoid, big ropey neck muscle on either side. And then softly bring it back to the center. And then take your chin out to the right side. And just notice if they go the same on both sides, if there's a little stop from one before the other. Keep your shoulders out of it. Our whole practice today is not going to be seated. We are going to get up in a little bit, but we're going to take a bunch of different seated postures first. And then back into the center. Good. One more time, face over. And now take your left hand on the right side of your chin and just let your head go a little bit further. Just going a little bit further, a little bit more tension into the neck muscles. Release the hand, don't keep it there, just that little tiny centimeter more, and then bring it back to center. And then take your chin out toward your right shoulder. Keep your left shoulder solid, don't take it over, don't move it, keep it low. And then using your right hand on the outside of your left cheek, just take your head a little bit further over to the right. And then back to center. And this time to the left without, and just see if it goes as far as it went the first time or the second time, hopefully the second time. Come back into the center and then take it again over to the right. See your motion, how far you could get. Good, and bring it back. Switch again, the legs across, whatever leg you have in front. Let's go in that direction. Great. Okay, and then let's go ahead and take our left arm out. Right now my palm is facing away from me, so I just brought it up, palm facing away. But once I get here from the shoulder, I'm going to flip the palm and everything up and bend the elbow and just place my hand somewhere on my scapula. So my left hand is on the scapula. Good, and just be there for a moment. Just taking the elbow as far up. You can even press it up a little bit. Just taking the elbow up. Just press your hand, your left hand into your scapula. So you're really straightening. The arm is active, very, very active left arm. You're pressing with your hand into your scapula. Your elbow is pressing up toward the ceiling. And then take your gaze out to the right side. Breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Then go ahead and release your left hand up toward the ceiling. Straighten the arm and bring your gaze back into neutral. Good. And then just release the left arm. Notice how your shoulder, your traps, anything in that whole area feels. And then just sweep the right arm out. Not until we get up are we going to consciously from the shoulder externally rotate. Okay, so now the palm is facing the left side. And then bend the elbow. Place your hand somewhere along your scapula. You can kind of rub the tricep for a minute to make sure that both are active. Hand is touching the scapula and it's pressing in a little. Elbow is pressing toward the ceiling. Breathe. Keep your belly in a little bit. Stabilize your low back. Be sure you're up on the top of your pelvic basket, not leaning back into anything, okay? You've got your lumbar curve somewhere. And then go ahead and take your face out toward the left side. Keep pressing into the right arm, keeping it active. And then release the arm, straighten the arm, take it back up to the ceiling. Reach through the fingertips toward the sky, and then bring your face back into neutral. Good, and then release. I can't see the chat. I can't come up to my computer and see it, so it's kind of useless. If something is important, maybe Cam can tell me, okay? So let's make some circles again, just thinking about our hips for a moment. And then we're going to change our seat, our direction for a moment. So I want you to go to Vajrasana or Virasana. So you can take your blocks and sit on your blocks. Move your, if you have a pillow or blanket, move it out of the way. Put your blocks, because they're a little bit more stable. You can use one block. You can bring the legs right in, in front of each other with no rotation, which would be Vajra, lightning bolt. Okay, thunderbolt pose. Or you can bring the knees together and the feet apart into Virasana, which has a little bit of internal rotation. So just deciding which is best for you today, okay? Great. And then let your arms just be out to the side for a moment. Just let your arms and your hands hang low, okay? Or to take the arm forward. And down. Move it out, up, back, and down. Now reverse. Take it down, back, forward. I didn't say up, but I'm sure you back, up, forward. Take it slow, slowly, slowly. Slow is better. This is the somatic movement, trying to get our brain to come in to the movement properly. Sorry for that. Hopefully come back. If you had to get up like I did, maybe you didn't. Hopefully you didn't. Hopefully you were still working on your other shoulder. Okay, so that's where we're headed. It's back to the other shoulder. So the right one, nice big circles. If they're not smooth, just come back, go back a little bit, and then pick it back up so that you begin to get the messaging for the brain to the muscle to connect. And then the other direction. Good, and then nice and smooth and nothing there for a moment. Okay, relaxing, arms out to the side, flip the palms, and then take the arms up overhead. And just noticing your shoulders and your trapezius, what happens there. Good. So we're going to do Gomukhasana arms, cow face arms. So bringing both palms are right now facing one another. So we're going to just open up the left arm, open up the left arm, flip it all the way back. So flip it, we're taking it into internal rotation. The palm is now going to face back behind me, the thumb toward the floor. I'm bending that arm, and you can see my hand somewhere on the other side. Just place the arm, and this one stays in external rotation. You can even flip it a little bit more, roll your little finger a little bit further, and then reach back and see if you can hold on to your shirt, to your hands, to anything. Good, and then release, and then both arms up over again, okay? We're gonna bring down the right arm. We're gonna internally rotate it from the shoulder, reach back, and you can take your hand all the way around to the other side, and then reach it up your back, up your spine, and then bend the other elbow. And just see if you're anywhere close. If not, just hold on to your shirt. But hold on to something so the elbows are reaching away and your shoulders are relatively even. Good, and then both arms up toward the ceiling. Good, now we're gonna do a twist for a moment. So go ahead and bring both arms up and out in front, okay? This is gonna be a twist that's gonna work deep into our neck region, not just our rib cage where we're gonna go. So your seat is nice and solid. We're gonna do this standing up in a moment too. And we're gonna go out to the left side and bend your right elbow, lift the elbow, keep the arms parallel to the floor. Look out over your left fingertips. Notice the neck. Don't let the shoulder or the arm drop. Just keeping that bit of tension that begins to form. Just notice where you are. Notice where your gaze is. And then slowly come back to front and center. Straighten your right arm. We're going to go over to the right side. Bend your left elbow, headed to the right side. Gazing out over your right fingertips. Don't let your left elbow drop. Keep it tall. Arms are parallel to the floor. And then undo, come back front and center, arms out in front. Just keep a little bit of tension. Notice the rhomboids, the muscles between your shoulder blades. And then relax your arm. And then again, reach your arms out, shoulder height. We're going to go over to the left side, bend your right elbow, and just see if you go any further. Your belly button stays front and center. Look out over your left fingertips. Don't drop your right elbow. Continue to open your left shoulder. Look out over the left hand. Breathe. Belly button's front and center. Belly button did not go with you. Keep your sit bones firmly on your block or whatever you're sitting on. And come back into the center. Arms in front. And then now headed to the other side. Bend the left elbow, looking out. Hopefully you can go a little bit further this time. Looking out over your fingertips. Keep opening the right shoulder. Left shoulder stays tall. And then gently bring it back to the center. Reach out. And then take your shoulder blades and set them down as you relax your hands to your legs. Good. And now let's bring the soles of the feet together. I'm going to come off my block. I'm going to put my blocks underneath my knees. So soles of the feet together for a moment. And I'm going to use the high side of my block so they can really relax. My whole leg can just relax nice and soft. Good. So get yourself set up with a diamond in your legs and your toes touching, ball of the foot touching, heels touching. Good. And you're sitting up on top of your sit bones. So you're not leaning back. Don't let yourself lean back. Pull yourself up on top of your sit bones. Set yourself back down on top of your sit bones, whatever you need to do to make that happen. Good. And this time we're going to take our chin, our ear a little bit over to the left side again. Just let it go. Notice if it's any different this time, if there's any less tension. Just rest your hands and arms. And then slowly, with intention, exhale and bring it back. This time not using your hand, unless you need your hand. If you want your hand, put it on the side of the chin or the temple and lift it back up. And then over to the right side. Good. And then bringing it back up. So relax into your legs for just a moment, just noticing how the legs are doing. And then a seated cat pose. So bring your arms around, give yourself a little hug. You can bring your elbows down towards your chest so you're rounding the spine. And then come up, look up, reach your arms back behind and squeeze the knuckles toward the floor. Then release the arms, other elbow on top. So switching the top arm each time. Coming up and switching the interlace of the fingers, use the uncomfortable one this time. Looking up. And then release and another little hug. Tuck the chin into the chest. Coming up. Use the comfortable interlace. Look up. And one last time. Little hug. And the uncomfortable interlace behind us. And back into neutral. Okay. So keep one block handy, swish your legs over to the right side and put your block underneath your left sit bone, only underneath your left sit bone. So you're sitting in Vrishasana, bull pose. Good. And then arms up again. Good. And then again, going over to the left side. Take your gaze out over your fingertips. Keep the right elbow lifted. And back into the center. Good. Release. Let's swish the legs over to the other side and put the block underneath your right sit bone. Draw the arms up. Good. And then head it over to the left side. Don't let the left elbow drop. Keep looking out over your right fingertips. Good. And then come back front and center and release. And then let's go onto our hands and knees for a moment. So I want us to clean the inside of a barrel and think about our shoulders cleaning the very top of the barrel. So rocking over to the side. Don't take your hips very far. Just keep your hips aligned with your shoulders. And then go in the other direction. So really cleaning the inside of that barrel, that peanut butter jar. Good. And then press into your hands. Great. Bend the elbows a little bit and come up to your knees for just a moment. Good. And then raise up the left arm, flip the palm into external rotation and reach over to the right. So just this little bit of a side bend. Take your gaze down all the way to the floor. So so your face is facing the floor. And then bring your left arm up toward the ceiling, reach up toward the ceiling, keep your face looking at the floor. Flip the palm so that when you take it again, the left arm parallel to the floor, the palm is facing upward. And reach as far to the left as you can while you're still looking at the floor. Release the left arm. And then bringing your right hand to your forehead, push your whole head back up. So really helping all of those muscles along the left side. Okay, other side, all the way up. And leaning over, so our side arch, often called a quarter moon, crescent moon. And then take the gaze down toward the floor. The palm is facing the floor. Just looking down. Breathe. And then bring your arm and hand up toward the ceiling. Look up, not look up, so look down. Reach up, look down. Good. And then slowly take the right arm out parallel to the floor. Flip the palm so it's facing the ceiling. Keep the arm parallel, keep looking at the floor. And then release the right arm. Just notice the difference in the sides of the body. And then you can use your left arm and hand to push yourself back up into neutral. And notice how that happened all through your trapezius in both sides of your body. Good. And we're going to go to the ball of the foot for just a moment, just into our little toe balance, really ball of the foot balance. Good. And then let's press up. So thinking again right here for just a moment about the side of the body. So we're going to take our feet probably about a foot apart, maybe a little bit less. You can decide. So we're going to use it with our shoulder and our neck, okay? So go ahead and take out to the left the arm, just reach it out. Good. So making this like three branch star. So your legs and your left arm. And then I want you to hinge at the hip and take your shoulder and arm over above or touching the right toe. So above is fine, just wherever it comes to. Take your gaze out to the center, so looking out, back out toward me. Just reaching. If your neck begins to bother you, look at the floor. Make sure you had some cervical curve before you moved your neck. And then back up, all the way up to that 3-pointed star, and then relax that arm. Good. And now, right arm up. I'm going to go all the way up and then come back out so that I don't have any kinks in my shoulder. Remember, shoulder is way down. My palm is facing up right now. Even though I'm going to have to flip the palm, I'm going to only do it when I pronate to go over to the leg. So slowly, just bending over, hinging at the hip. First looking down, taking your hand to your foot or somewhere up. It doesn't matter. You don't have to touch. Notice your shoulder, your trapezius. And then take your gaze with a lengthen your spine first, so long neck, and then gaze out toward the front. If you get any crick in your neck or anything, look at the floor. Breathing. And then we're going to come up slowly, form that 3-pointed star. And then relax the arms. Good. So hinging over at the hips for just a moment. Get long in the spine. And then allow your spine to come and relax. If you're not inverting, just maybe keep the spine out a little bit more. Don't let the neck and the spine totally relax. Bring your hands to the top of the thighs. Press the palms, the palm of the hands into the top of the thighs. And then on your next exhale, press up. Good. And then I want us to do one pose at the wall, working on our rhomboids. It's plank pose, but at the wall, okay? So I'm going to find a spot at the wall. I'm going to make sure my feet are underneath my shoulders and hips. So not too far back, not back like this, not leaning into the wall. So feet are right underneath, as if we were in plank pose on the floor. And my hands are above my shoulders. My wrists are right in front of my shoulders, okay? So I'm here, and I'm going to take my shoulder blades and puff them out to the side so that they're really there for the heads of the humerus on the arm sockets. So lots of space between the scapula. Press into the wall. And then we're going to bend our elbows and they head down, not to the side. Elbows head down. Don't jut out your chin or anything. Just let your body move as one plane. And then press the wall away and come back. So don't lock your arms, straight arms, but gently bent elbows. Again, bend the elbows down to the floor, not out to the side. You're close, getting hopefully close to the wall with your forehead. Don't jut your forehead or nose toward the wall. Just let it happen. Make sure the elbows are not out to the side. Press away, spread the space between the scapula. Those are your rhomboids. And then bend head to the wall. 2 or 3 more. Press and head to the wall. Stay in that straight line. It's such a temptation to jut your chin or nose out. Good. Let's release the arms and just see how it's feeling right now in your shoulders. We're going to come back down to the floor. Good. All the way to the floor for a second. Sitting back in Vajrasana. So this time sitting on the tops of your heels. You can curl the toes under or keep them aligned. You can decide. Good. And now we're going to do one more. We're going to do eagle arms, okay? So just reaching out to the side. If you're not comfortable with your heels making contact with your sit bones, put a block under there or a pillow or something to make it a little bit more comfortable. But if you can have that connection between hips and heels, wonderful. Okay, arms out to the side. So reach your arms out toward me. Just reach them out toward me. So let the shoulder blades wrap around to the sides and then continue to cross the arms over as far as you can cross. Nothing more right now. Just cross the arms over, elbows as far as you can cross them. And then release and shake out your elbows. Shake out your arms and just let your arms get soft. Good. Arms back up. We're going to do the side you didn't do. So just reaching, going as far as you can, far as you can. Reach, 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 and then relax. Good. And then arms out to the side one more time. This time, let's take left over right. So left over right, reach, reach, and then take the backs of the arms toward one another. Look through your wrist. Lift your elbows up to shoulder height. And then very slowly, you're welcome to wrap your palms or not. It doesn't really matter. And take your elbows down toward your rib cage as you let your arms come toward parallel to the floor. And then bring your arms back in and lift your elbows up as far as is comfortable. And then elbows back into shoulder height. And then let the arms open toward parallel to the floor, just toward. And then come back, elbows coming up. And back to shoulders and release. Reach away from one another. Reach both arms out. And now take the right on the top. Reach as far as you can possibly reach before you do anything else. Reach. And then bend the backs of the arms to meet one another. You can wrap the wrist or not. Bring the elbows to shoulder height. And then let the elbows come down and close to the chest as you begin to open your arms close to parallel. Wherever they come to is fine. They can just be right here. It doesn't really matter. Everything is just a matter of our own growth. Coming back up and then lifting the elbows up as far as is comfortable. And back to shoulder height. And open the arms as much as is comfortable. Don't go to the uncomfortable place. Pain is not gain. Bend the elbows and come up. And back down. Good. And then release the arms. Make cactus arms for a moment. Just be there. Notice if everything's creeping up. Make sure your shoulders are down, not up. Make sure they're down. Good. And then take the palms parallel to the floor with forearms and palms parallel to the floor. Keep your shoulders down as you do that. Don't let your shoulders creep up to your neck. And then take the arms down, forearms down toward the floor. Just relax them. Notice any tension you feel. Keep the shoulders down. And then relax the backs of the hands onto the legs. Good. Okay, so let's come into a comfortable seated pose for just another moment. Just any comfortable seat, whichever leg in front you'd like. Good. So sitting nice and tall for just a moment. Pull in your pelvic floor for a moment. Pull in your belly for a moment. Sitting tall. And then relax your pelvic floor, relax your belly. And just be for a moment. Just be with your arms and your shoulders. I just want you to check in and see how your shoulders and arms feel now compared to at the beginning. And then just one more time, looking out to your left side, just taking the face as far as is comfortable now, just noticing if it's different on its own than it was at the beginning. And then bring it back front and center. Don't let your shoulders move. You're just using the neck. And head it out to the right side. See if you go any further than you did on your own at the very beginning. And back into the center. Okay. So today you get a choice for a moment. You can take like a 2 or 3 minute shavasana, just lying yourself down briefly, or you can sit. What we often do in India, we were speaking the other day, in India, people don't take shavasana often because you're on cold concrete floors and it's not a very comfortable thing to do. So often you're just taking a seated shavasana as much as you possibly can. So whether you decide to lie down for the next 2 or 3 minutes or sit up, just letting your body relax muscle to bone. Letting your tongue soften in the mouth and your eyes soften in the sockets. This little taste of death at the end of asana practice to remind us that these bodies are mortal and we are immortal. Check on your jaw. Relax your jaw. And if you took a shavasana, gently bringing yourself out of it slowly. Take your time. Take your time. Moving through embryo pose and then into a comfortable seat. Just take your time. The pranayama that we're going to do this morning, well, let me first encourage you to get whatever you might want for your meditation, so that if you want a blanket or a bolster or a pillow or an extra sweater, that you grab that now so that you're not moving between pranayama and meditation. So for our pranayama this morning, we're going to go to one of the most popular pranayams for balancing the body, Nadi Shodhana. The Nadi means our energy body, Shodhana means cleansing. So cleansing our energetic body. It uses a full yogic breath, and if you don't know what I mean when I say that, just breathe deeply. It uses a hand in a mudra, and we close off our right nostril with our thumb and our left nostril with our ring finger, and we bring it in a horseshoe. It comes in the left, out the right, in the right, and out the left. If you've never done it before and you don't want to get involved with the hands, forget it. Just imagine it coming in one nostril to the very top of the pharynx, and then all the way over and then up and over. So just creating that horseshoe with your mind, okay? For those of you who want to join me with your right hand in Vishnu Mudra, either tucking in the index finger and the middle finger or placing them at the third eye center. You can decide which mudra. Right nostril with your thumb, left nostril with your ring finger, and elbow is comfortable. We just worked on that shoulder. So if it gets tired, just support it with your left hand, okay? Otherwise, do what I suggested, just breathing and not engaging the hands at all, okay? So as we're ready, I'll walk us through a round, then my voice will peel off. Exhaling the breath all the way out, using a full yogic breath if you can and you know it. Close off your right nostril, inhale left. Top of the inhale, switch fingers, exhale right. Inhale right. Top of the inhale, switch fingers, exhale left. That makes one round. Continuing on at your own pace. If you get lost where you are, just recalibrate and start over. It's all good. Make sure that your arm isn't inhibiting your chest. With your next exhale out of the left nostril, just bringing the practice to a close. And as you do that, just sit quietly for a moment, noticing the effects of the practice on the body, on the breath, on the mind. We'll slide right into meditation. So with very little movement, if possible, very little. When the body moves, the mind moves. If you have an object of concentration, please use that. Beginning to withdraw the senses. Sound being the last one with my voice. If you don't have an object of concentration, just bring your mind to the breath itself. Letting a mantra guide you, not controlling the breath at all, just naming it. I'm inhaling, I'm exhaling. I'm inhaling, I'm exhaling. Keeping the object of concentration in the mind. If it starts to wander, bring it back gently, like a toddler. If the mind has wandered, bring it back. Bring it back. Gently bring it back. Releasing the mudra, releasing your object of concentration, releasing the mantra, anything that tethered you, let it go. Just bringing yourself back into the body, fully into the body. Just noticing for a moment how you feel in the body, in the breath, in the mind. Bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Any merit we may have earned this morning, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentient beings. Remembering your intention and let that flood your mind again. Remembering your offering, that little extra boost of energy that something or someone needs in your life. So holding those two thoughts in your mind for just a moment, letting them drop down into your heart space, symbolically letting them push out into the palms of your hands and then lift them up and just let them go off into the universe. Gently bringing the hands back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. Okay, I'm coming to you. So let me fix this so I can see you and you can see everybody else. Let me stop. You're all welcome. I'm so glad you came. Let me get this fixed though. Let me get gallery. Let me remove the spotlight. Let me fix it where you can speak. Now you can unmute whenever you'd like. Okay. Great. So nice to have you this morning. Thanks to everyone for coming to class. So those of you who are new to class, we spend about 10 or 15 minutes after class just kind of taking any questions and going over what we did to see if anyone has any issues or anything to talk about or discuss. Like today the focus was really on the shoulders and the neck. And I had a practice that this weekend that was about that for some reason. I just did a practice and I thought how delicious my shoulders and arms felt the next day. So I don't know if it wasn't a very active practice. So those of my students who are here that come all the time can tell you that's not necessarily always the case. But today it was pretty low key, right? So it differs. It totally differs from day to day. So any questions about the, how is your neck? Is it better?
It's good. Feels
good. Yes, Barbara.
Ginger, thank you so much. It was a terrific class. But when you went to the wall, the camera was such I couldn't see what you were doing. So were you pressing your body away from the wall?
I was at the wall.
Yes.
And then I was bending my elbows and getting close to the wall.
Okay.
And then I would press away into my hands and come back. So
Okay.
it was just like being doing chaturanga on the floor, but doing
Okay.
it at the wall.
So you were just going up and down.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Just back and forth, back and forth. So just as if I were on the floor and I was going to do chaturanga and push back up, and chaturanga and push back up.
Okay.
Exactly the same, with the elbows to the floor, never out to the side. Right.
But the arms are straight.
The arms are straight when you go, and then you bend the elbows down toward the floor as you come over, and then you press back and the arms are straight, but not locked. And we have to be careful not to lock the arms, right, when we go, because we want to not do that when we're in plank on the floor or when we're in plank upright, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions about anything in particular? Coral, did you have a question?
My left nostril.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mina. I see you. Uh-huh.
My left nostril seems to be a little bit more clogged up than the right. So what shall I do?
So there's a couple of things you can do. We all have a dominant nostril. All day long, we breathe out of one nostril and change about every 3 or 4 hours. So we have one dominant nostril. So one of the things you can do is just hold your nostril that you're breathing on, that the good one is, and just hold it and just try to breathe for a few breaths through that restricted nostril. And sometimes that alone is plenty. Like you just do it, 5 or 10 breaths, and all of a sudden it switches. So that's one way. Another way is like under the clog side, you put your fist under the armpit, dig it in, and under the clog side, and pull it in as much as you can, and just tuck your chin in. And so that supposedly also changes the direction of the nadi. The most effective thing for me, however, is if the left side is clogged, I lie on my pillow on my right side for a moment and let that side just drain enough that it starts to get unclogged. And before it clogs the other one, I come up, gargle hot water, spit out whatever's in the back of my throat and go. So I try to do it before I'm going to sit, right? Because I try to see if anything's, but sometimes I just like let it drain, because it's just a drainage. If it's inflammation, like if you're getting a sinus infection and it's inflammation, it's not going to switch. But if it's inflammation, then you don't want to do a lot of forcing that side either, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And Coral, you had a question?
Yeah. No, I don't have a question. I just wanted to say thank you so much. That was lovely.
You are so welcome.
I'm teaching online all the time at the moment because of this pandemic thing, and my neck is just getting so tight. So that was really nice. Thank you so much. And my doggy joined you for the end bit.
Yeah, he's so cute.
He loves Shavasana. I play the gong. So look, he's gone back. He knows what to do. But thank you, and I've got to go back to work now, but I hope I can join you again. That was
I hope so. Yeah, it's an hour earlier on Thursday. So Tuesdays at this hour and an hour earlier on Thursday.
I think it's 4 o'clock here where I am.
Ah, okay.
So I've made intention for half a day.
Okay. Well, so it'd be like you can take a break off at 2 and take a class on Thursday.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Coral. Glad you joined.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, so anyone else, anything about your neck? How does it feel? How do your shoulders feel? Like on the computer a lot, if we're having to work at the computer, it gets really tense, right? Jean, your camera is dirty.
That's the first I noticed it. I have an iPad that's in its last days, so that might be part of that.
They could be part of that, but you can also get one of those lens cleaners and just clean the eye of your camera. Sometimes it's just that. Sometimes you just put a greasy finger on it, didn't realize it.
Okay.
That's what
Thanks.
happened to me when I was teaching initially. All of a sudden my camera just went really foggy and I thought, what the heck? And I taught a class that day like that with a foggy camera. Some of you may remember that. And sure enough, the next morning I thought, I'm just going to wipe it off with my lens thing, and it was clear again.
I'll try that.
Yeah, so you never know.
Thanks.
Yeah, so our necks and our shoulders, you know, we hold, our trapezius just starts to lift the shoulders, and before we know it, we're sitting there with our shoulders swallowing our neck, you know. And also the range of motion, I think, because we're just at the computer and we may be leaning forward a little bit, you know, I think that stops that range of motion that we have. And so it's really important to just keep moving our head in both directions. Did you all see an improvement from the very first time you looked your head to the side and the last time you looked to the side? Did you see an improvement?
Yes.
Good, good. Yeah. And also just that little thing of, you know, letting your brain know that you're safe. So, you know, you turn and then you come back and then you turn and then you push it a tiny bit, just a tiny bit. And then you come back and then you go on your own and you can go where you pushed it to, because it knows now that that one was safe. It didn't spasm, right? So it's kind of also just playing with the mind a little bit. Yeah. And any questions about the pranayama practice? I just had you do Nadi Shodhana, and yes, Michelle, absolutely. You can ask about the breathing.
Hi, that was lovely, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I seem to be able to breathe in for quite a long time, but I can't, my breathing out doesn't. So I'm breathing maybe 4, and I get to 3 out, and I'm struggling. Is that?
You would like to change that a little bit if you can. You would like to get a little bit longer exhale. And so
Yeah.
I would recommend that you do just, have you been able to differentiate between the breaths, the abdominal breathing and chest breathing yet? Have you worked with that?
I have done
Hmm?
in the past, and this is my 2nd session with you.
So on my YouTube channel, it's just YouTube/Ginger Hooven, right? And on that channel, there are some things you can see: abdominal breathing, or 3-part breath, or Nadi Shodhana, or yogic breath. You can just pick something there, and you can fast forward till you get to the pranayama toward the end, right? I would recommend that you do a little bit of abdominal breathing initially, which is really diaphragmatic breathing, but we call it belly breath. Because that will get your diaphragm more flexible, so that when it relaxes, you can use your abdominal muscles to pull in, right? And extend your exhale out a little longer. You might start with an exhale, like exhaling the breath out, pull the belly muscles into the spine, relax the muscles and let the inhale come in, and then focus on exhaling it out. So before it ever gets up into the chest, you're just using the diaphragm dropping on its own, and then you're pulling your abdominal muscles in. But if you look on the YouTube channel and you try to find the one about abdominal breathing, there's several that have abdominal breathing, and do several of them.
Lovely,
Just sort of, I would start there. I think that would be the thing that would most help you diaphragmatically to control what's beginning to happen there, because ideally you would extend your exhale a couple of seconds longer than your inhale when you're moving into a meditative breath, right? Does that make sense?
Lovely, thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Yeah. And the
Ginger,
meditation.
what is the YouTube link that you can?
You just
Can
put.
you repeat the YouTube link, please?
Yes, it's youtube.com/Ginger Hooven, all together, GINGERHOOVEN, N at the end. I wish I were a vacuum cleaner owner, but I'm not.
Thank
Ginger
you.
Hooven. Good Dutch name. Yeah. Yes. So, and there's a ton of stuff there. Asana. So, any day that's not a Tuesday or Thursday, feel free to go there and practice because it's got a lot of all the stuff that we've done in the past. So we have Sutra class for those of you who have not yet checked into Mount Madonna Institute and Mount Madonna Center. We have Sutra class starting in an hour. And yes, thank you. Donna just put it in the chat, the YouTube channel. And we have Sutra class starting in an hour for those of you who like to study the Yoga Sutras. Yes, it was started in 1970 on Tuesday mornings, and it's still going on 40 years later. Well, we're I guess into the 50th year. Yeah. So on Thursdays there's Gita class, and it's at 9:15 Pacific time in the US. I'm in Guatemala, so I'm a couple of hours later. I'll be thrilled for March 15th when you guys spring forward again. So there's only an hour difference between you and me because the 2 hours just gets challenging. And not to speak of what's happening if you're 8 hours away. So yeah. Well,
Ginger, the sutras are, is it the same Zoom link for sutras?
Same, pardon?
The same Zoom link?
No, I think Donna just put it in the chat. You want to check the chat real quick? Yes.
I think the chat disappears after you finish the class, right? So it's impossible to retrieve it, right?
Yes, but if you go to www.mountmadonnainstitute.org and just scroll down to online classes, then all the links appear there, all of them.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. The link to my class, the link to Sutra, the link to Gita, the link to, we have a great workshop on yoga psychology coming up with Nick Fortino, who's a wonderful yogi and transcendental psychologist. And yeah, we have some really good stuff going on. Some of them have a small cost, some of them are donation only, and some of them are totally free. So yes, check it out, mountmadonnainstitute.org. mountmadonnacenter.org also will take you into the free online classes. So either one. Mount Madonna Center doesn't say it just says mountmadonna.org. So either mountmadonna.org or mountmadonnainstitute.org.
I do have the website. Donna sent it to me. I tried to de-snow my car and maybe come back. It's completely covered with snow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in New York, we got really bad one yesterday because we are in the middle of storm, actually. So.
Well, I hope you can stay in and get snuggled into some warmth there. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for the class. It was wonderful.
You're
we have
so
much tension in the neck and in the shoulders, like you said, without even knowing. We kind of go tight. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Jana. Thanks, Manipam. Nice to see you. Surya Prakash, I had a great weekend with you. Jean, wonderful. Ashok, always. Meena, thank you. Jola. Cam, thanks for being my co-host. Nancy, love you. Donna, thank you, darling. Hope you're feeling better. My Sylvia, Julie, Wendy, Sandra, everybody, have a great one. Verinda, have a wonderful day. Okay, ciao, everyone.